Hey guys, welcome to the Scarnati Swim Podcast. I'm your host, Nikki Scarnati, certified self-rescue swim instructor, content creator for water safety, drowning prevention, and safety and lessons. I'm on a board of a nonprofit organization called Swim for CJ, and I'm also an underwater hypoxic blackout prevention ambassador. I spend a lot of time in my community educating parents on water safety, drowning prevention, and safety and lessons, things to look for, things and questions to ask your instructor to know that you have the right one. This podcast is a branch off of my existing content, and if you have not come across my content before, perhaps you have seen my viral video on why you should not buy your child blue bathing suits. In March of 2023, I had made a video of my daughter in a very light blue bathing suit in the pool to show parents an example on why bathing suits are so problematic in pools. And very quickly, that video caught traction. To this day, that video is sitting at over 60 million views across social media platforms. I was blessed enough to be on Good Morning America, People Magazine, Parents Magazine, Daily Mail, New York Post, and so many other prestigious news outlets that wanted to cover the story. And I'm happy that the video was able to have the reach that it did because it helped so many parents gain perspective who never thought that blue bathing suits were problematic. And I hope that it makes its way up the ladder to the companies and the designers who are making these clothes to potentially make brighter options for us, because at the end of the day, it's just going to benefit our child and their safety. Throughout last year, I did spend a lot of time researching and ordering products from companies that design bathing suits with children's safety in mind. One of which I really loved the approach of. The company is called Hue Under Blue, and they design bathing suits with print, and all of the designs are based on what's scientifically proven to be brightest in water. So if you go to buy a bright pink bathing suit on that website, there will be a disclaimer on that bathing suit that bright pink is not the brightest option for open water, but it is for pools and splash parks. And I thought that was a great perspective to say, hey, this option's going to be here, but it may not be so great here. And just giving that disclaimer to parents is really, really helpful, I think. So I fell in love with them for that, and I bought one of their bathing suits. It's adorable. My daughter loved it. It was a 90s pop theme bathing suit, and if you follow me on social media, you've seen the pictures. And then there was another company that I discovered too called Life Bright Active. Now, their prints are completely solid, but they are great and bright and do the job. The last company that I will mention is called High Vis Swimwear, and I'm currently product testing a couple of rash guards for them. Their product are chlorine safe and very bright, and I will say they were very open to listening to my feedback on the product so they could make it better. They should be very close to being able to produce and ship those bathing suits in real time. I do believe right now they're still in the pre-order phase. So if that's something that you would be interested in, that would be great. If you go to social media, I'll try and link my link tree somewhere here where you can just click the link and it will give you a direct access to those 3 sites right through my link tree. And I do have some bright options in my Amazon storefront. If you click that link as well, I do have everything anything water safety related you will find in that storefront. But to the topic of bright bathing suits and why you shouldn't be buying blue ones. The goal of this podcast is to give parents a safe place to come without judgment, to ask questions, get feedback from a water safety professional, or to gain access to education or information that isn't already out there. There's a lot of things that aren't mainly known about water safety and drowning prevention. And I want this podcast to be a place, a beacon for you to come to get that information. I want to talk to water safety professionals. I want to talk to swim instructors. I want to talk to parents who have lost a child to a drowning or perhaps had a drowning incident of their own that was non-fatal. To talk to people who have ended up going on to start their own nonprofit organization to advocate for water safety and help children in their area gain access to lessons they wouldn't already have access to. I want to talk to medical professionals and get their feedback based on their experience. So all together, collectively, we can get that information to you, the parent. I find it very important for us to talk about this. Drowning is the leading cause of death in children under 4, and it's the second leading cause in children 5 to 12. It's important that we talk about water safety because the approach that we have to water safety isn't changing drowning statistics. In fact, drownings are at an all-time high. So, me on this podcast to help educate you and give you access to the information you need to keep your child safe around water. This is the second of the segment of the podcast where I just want to go through and share some feedback from working professionals that have come into my comments on socials and just kind of add perspective for parents who maybe are questioning the blue bathing suit concept. So, Jessica from TikTok says, I'm a former lifeguard and this is absolutely right. Any shade of blue is difficult to see, and so is any pastel color in general. Lynette says, I teach swim lessons. Proper colored bathing suits are one of the things that I require. As a lifeguard, any pastel color is hard to see, but any deep shades are okay to spot. Neons are really good. Trinity says, I'm a lifeguard and this is true. Sometimes I can only see kids in the water because of their bathing suits. Sierra says, as a lifeguard, it's really hard to see kids, especially in the sun. The real Maya Irvin says, yes, I'm a lifeguard at a really busy public pool. Please, please, please get a neon suit, especially taller stands because blue is impossible to see. Whenever I lifeguard, it stresses me out like crazy because the lighting can be bad and prevents clear vision of the child. Jeff says, excellent advice. From a formal lifeguard, you want your child to stand out. Guards are scanning and watching hundreds of people. Now from Instagram, tsb.amore says, former life, she's 100% right. Even melanated kids should do this. If your small child is in a pool full of other kids that look like them, they can have the same risk. The accordion master says, as someone who had to supervise kids in a pool for a job, the blue bathing suit makes it so much harder to tell if they are dead or drowning underwater. Please get a different color. EMLP0227 says, as a former lifeguard and swim instructor, this is very true. Because on the busy days, if something happens, the blue bathing suits blend in especially well. Even on the calm days, we are trained well, but putting kids in bright bathing suits help you keep track of them, and it helps us when scanning the water. Cricket Powell says, former lifeguard, pinks, reds, orange, or neon is the easiest to see underwater, even in shadows or in pools under structures. Alex says, as a former lifeguard, the best bathing suits you can put your children in are red and bright neon colors. Those are the most visible underwater and not just in swimming pools. So I wanted to give you guys that feedback because sometimes we don't know what we don't know until we know, right? So from a parent's perspective, I have 2 kids. My oldest is 9, my youngest is 3. So my youngest tends to gravitate towards the splash pads and the shallow kiddie pools. She's been able to swim since she was 19 months old. She's been in strokes lessons since she was 2, but she's not quite in that place where I'm comfortable enough for her to be in the big kid pool with that many people in the water. It's just the water professional in me. Not yet. My oldest, on the other hand, is always in the big kid pool, jumping off the rock cliffs, doing the water slides. So I'm grateful enough to be able to divide with my husband. However, I understand that not every parent is in that place. Sometimes you don't have a significant other with you at the pool that day, or maybe you're a single parent and you don't have any family member help you. I understand how that would be defeating. So what I would recommend is getting matching bathing suits for your kids. And those 3 websites that I gave you have toddler sizes, regular kid sizes, and sometimes even for adults. So all 3 of you, or however many of you there are, you would still be able to match. And that would make things that much easier, because when a child goes missing, what's the first thing you do? They're wearing a bathing suit this color. It looks exactly like this. Have you seen them? Or it just helps you keep an eye on them. With toddlers, they break free so fast. It's just easy to have that bright color on them to spot them. Heaven forbid anything happens. And again, it just makes it easier to spot. So just something to keep in mind when it comes down to selecting bathing suits. We will cover many topics on this platform. I would like to bring in, I have an impressive list of guests that I will be bringing on in the future. I am very, very blessed to have the community that I do. It is a very small community, but I'm very proud to have it. And I can't wait for them to share that perspective for you, to give you that feedback as a parent coming from someone who works in the field. I also want to bring on, professionals that work in the medical industry, because if you work in an ER, odds are you've been on some kind of fatal, non-fatal drowning case. I want to get their feedback. I want to talk to pediatricians. There's so many things that we can talk about on water safety, and I want to bring all of them to you to give you access to all that information. What a lot of people don't know is that the CDC does not have the funding to continually do data research on drowning statistics. And believe it or not, the last time the CDC updated their drowning statistics was back in 2014. We are now in 2024. So those statistics are a decade old. So just to put that into perspective, and how much things happen when it comes down to drowning statistics, and people just can't keep up with them. And there are water safety professionals like me that are determined to get people talking about it, because lives really do depend on it. So that is going to wrap up today's episode and talking about why you shouldn't be buying your child blue bathing suits. And I will see you guys on Wednesdays for new podcast episodes. So I hope you guys enjoy. Thank you for being here. Thank you for giving me the platform to be here. And I will see you guys in the next one.